Hi, welcome to the Lens Community channel. Today I wanted to speak on feeling lonely even when you're surrounded by people and just feeling like you haven't found your people yet. For a long time, I have felt unsure who my people are because as I've grown and as I've changed as a person, I feel disconnected from people in my life. And well, how do you know who your people are? And is it okay to, enjoy your own company and be alone instead of surrounding yourself with the wrong people? But how long can that really go on for until you actually just feel lonely? Because as human beings, we crave human connection, and it's only normal that we can't sustain that just being isolated from everyone. So, yeah. Where I have gotten lonely and craved human connection, I have surrounded myself around the wrong people and maybe too many people, just trying to be friends with everybody and, kind of having people-pleasing tendencies, just trying to please others, trying to be everyone's friend, and trying to be likable to everybody. But sometimes, when you do something like that, you actually end up just attracting those who are aware of, of how desperate you are to have that connection, and you end up attracting people in your life who will take advantage of that. And yeah, you end up attracting just the wrong people in general. Maybe these people are also craving that connection too, and you end up just being friends for convenience and for the sake of having a friend. But are you really connected with this person? So yeah, I would say as I have grown in my 20s, I have definitely learned to enjoy my own company so much more than I did when I was younger. But are we allowed to enjoy our own company and still value deep connections with people? As I've gotten older, I am a lot more selective with who I give my time and my energy to. At one point in my life, I would feel guilty if I wasn't serving the people in my life, whether they were family, friends, relationships. I felt like I was just in some people's life because it was convenient for them, but not so convenient for me. And it's also an issue that I had to work through, just constantly pouring from an empty cup and never really thinking about what I want and what makes me happy. And if you're not communicating that with people, then how are people supposed to know how you feel and can help you and can understand? So what does like a deep connection actually feel like to me? A deep connection for me, I really value someone who has things in common with me. I think I'm always like open and up for trying new things. And I love being bad at something and just making mistakes and just giving it a go just to have fun. But I think it's more so like, are we aligned within, the types of things that we do like to do? I love being creative. So, someone who is creative and would, be open to spending time doing creative things, that could literally be anything really. I think just being aligned in like some common interests is always good. And that goes along with common values as well. Because I suppose you can be interested in different things, but if you both value completely different things, then that difference can actually be quite big and can make you feel like misaligned and uncomfortable. And it might make it difficult to, have conversations about certain things. Difficult conversations are good, but it doesn't mean that every conversation has to feel uncomfortable. And you got to listen to your gut and your intuition. Like if it feels off and you know that you both kind of disagree with each other a lot, then that means that there's a mismatch in the things that you're interested in and the things that you stand for. What deep connection feels like to me is somebody who listens and is respectful. I think, I expect that from acquaintances. Good manners mean everything. It's not difficult to just show respect, even if you don't get along with people. Like, just show respect and be polite. And if you're a good listener, then that just allows for good conversation. I think if you can listen to the other person, they can also listen to you. Then you show respect for the other person and you show that you're actually interested in what they've got to say and what their opinions are and how they feel about things, and just allowing space for them to be themselves and to speak. It sounds so small and like it's not a big ask, but it can be a big ask. Some people are, I've had conversations with people who constantly interrupt me and don't allow space for me to have my own say, and they're never really listening to you. Even when you are speaking and maybe they're not interrupting you, you can tell when someone's just not listening or paying attention, and it can feel really rude. But when it comes to them and, when they're speaking about their own life, you have to listen, you have to take it in, you have to have the energy for it. And there's been quite a few times where I've had to say, look, I don't have the energy for this conversation today. And it can feel uncomfortable doing that, but it kind of weeded out the people that I didn't want to be around, because I've made a lot of time for some people and they just don't make that time for me. And yeah, I just can't do it. Linked with being a good listener, I guess it's also, like curiosity, like just showing and reciprocating that same curiosity back. So, asking questions, asking how you are, just showing that they're interested in you and what you're passionate about, and just caring about you and just genuinely quite curious about you. And I have outgrown connections, and that's okay. And, it's not really anyone's fault. People change and things change. My life has changed, and so has other people's lives. People that I've been connected with in the past, their life has changed too. And that's okay. And it doesn't mean that, the blame is on anyone and it's not anyone's fault, but we just outgrow people and we just outgrow things. And that can be quite a painful experience, because it can be people that you're really close to. It could be close friends that you've been friends with since school, or people that you've called your best friend and have been there for you through a lot. And it could also be just one of those friendships where you've also been through a lot with them. And it could be family members. It could be people that you thought you were going to spend the rest of your life with. But things change and you outgrow people and connections. You outgrow a lot of things, but along with those things, you also outgrow the people that you're around and are in your life, which makes sense. So, yeah. Now, the mistake that I've made is that it became like a dangerous time when I became maybe a bit too selective and I didn't give connections a chance. And I'm still working through this today, especially today, because I've changed a lot this year. So I am quite selective with who I call my friends and who I say I'm close to, because I don't want to change who I am to fit in with someone else, and I don't want to change who I am to be liked by somebody. So it's almost like a protective mechanism that I have to avoid connections that are a disservice to me and my life and my goals and my own circle that I've already got. I want to make sure that I introduce people into my life that are going to be respectful and align with my own values and my own morals. I think what I'm learning right now is that you can disagree with people, but still do it respectfully. And having, like I said, having difficult conversations is a part of life. And as long as you're being respectful and polite to the other person, my light just ran out, so I just put it back. Something else that I'm also working through is I've been questioning, how do I find my people if I spend a lot of my time alone? So yeah, I mean, I've been spending my time doing things that I actually like and what I want to do. And it's quite isolated places. So I love going for hikes and spending time outdoors and in nature. And it's really peaceful. And that's the kind of place that I like to spend my time. Am I likely to make friends this way? Probably not. But it's not a complete rule out. So I guess it's just when I'm going out by myself, I'm more likely to have conversations with strangers and to make friends this way. But especially as a woman, I'm also quite cautious. So it's about, balancing my own safety with speaking to people in isolated places. I think it's not so bad if you're going to a club or like a book club or something. I mean, I used to go to the club, not anymore. I think if you're in like a coffee shop or a library, bookstore, like I was just thinking of some places I might go, or like in a park even, you're probably more likely to find friends and speak to people that way. But I think that I'm quite at the beginning of like my journey of spending time outdoors and going for long walks, going hiking, going camping and things like this. I think as I get more comfortable with it, and it's just like timing, I think, just waiting for the right timing and for that opportunity to present itself. But yeah, I guess like you can't force a friendship, but I'm very open to it. But it is really difficult when I have spent so much time by myself. Even when I'm outside and I'm doing things by myself, the likelihood of like me actually like being in the mood to have a conversation, I spend time by myself for a reason, because I enjoy my own company and I like solitude. There's nothing wrong with that. But that doesn't mean that I don't crave human connection either. Sometimes I have just one-off conversations with some people, or I just speak to people that I'm not necessarily close with. Maybe there's things that kind of get in the way of that friendship blossoming. It could be like distance, it could be time zones, it could be that there's just no chance of us ever really meeting in person. It could be just like an online friendship. Or it could just be that, they're going through a difficult period in their life, or they're really busy. Like trying to make time for each other can be difficult if we've both got our own responsibilities and life going on. So, but anyway, like whatever the reason is, sometimes it's just like a random DM of somebody who's maybe even seen my video or like something on my page or whatever. That doesn't mean that, everybody that you get on with or understands you or resonates with you, that doesn't mean you're going to be best friends. I believe that everybody's in your life kind of for a reason. So I get random comments and messages like on my YouTube and on my Instagram in the comment section and in DMs and stuff. And those mean so much to me, because I appreciate just those random like moments where, you know, maybe these people are complete strangers to you, but what they've got to say, I don't know how to put it into words. I just really appreciate their presence in my life, even though it's so small. And they'll probably forget about me tomorrow. And we'll just go on with our lives. And like even just random conversations that I've had with strangers, like at the bus stop, just random conversations. I mean, I used to work in retail, so like just having those random conversations with like strangers on a day-to-day basis, those conversations can mean so much. Like they have so much weight to them and so much meaning. So in these moments, I think it's the way that they articulate something, and I immediately think to myself, oh, they get it. Like, oh, they get it. It's like a sense of relief, and it gives me hope that, you know, I'm not as lonely as I may convince myself that I am. That there are people out there who do get it and do resonate with me and do have these crazy thoughts, well, like, crazy, you know, that do have the same thoughts and opinions as me, and maybe just like behaviour and way of communication, or just, I don't know, just they get it, and it's a relief, but it's also just really comforting, and just makes me feel so grateful that I've come across that person. So yeah, prioritizing deep connection over just having more friends is something that I really admire. And maybe it's not just about like asking yourself, how can I get more people in my life? But it's about just having somewhere that you feel like you belong. It's asking yourself, like, what kind of connection are you really looking for? Because I feel such a deep sense of connection with myself, and I'm only comparing that connection that I have with myself with everybody that I meet. And I think that's a pretty good standard to have, because when you don't have a good relationship and connection with yourself, you don't know what a good connection or relationship is. So you end up just, you know, you're treating yourself badly, and then you're allowing other people to also treat you badly. Or you're kind of just settling for just not feeling connected to anybody because you are not connected with yourself. But yeah, I think that's it for today's video. It's very, very hot. I don't know where you are in the world and what the temperature is like for you right now, but this heat wave is crazy. I'm gonna go, but thank you so much for tuning in on this week's episode and watching this video. I would love to hear your thoughts below in the comment section. I love it when I get a comment or a DM. It means so much, and just because there's no comments there, it doesn't mean that, you know, I'm not open for conversation. So please let me know your thoughts, and yeah, I hope you have an amazing week ahead of you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you guys.